Okay, race 3 is at Suzuka, a highly technical track. It's going to reward patience in certain sectors and it's going to reward bravery in others. So you join me now starting the lap. I've managed to get a pretty good drive off the final chicane. First brake reference, about a car's length away from the 50 board. For turn 1, it's really important to set the car up for turn 2. So you're looking to be wide on entry for turn 2. Trail braking all the way, clipping the apex, and then getting up to speed as early as possible to set the car up for the S-curves. There's no braking for the entry into S-curves. You're just going to modulate the throttle all the way through, ensuring that you're using all of the track, clipping all the apexes, positioning the car just right to keep up your average speed as high as possible. For this part of the S-curves, I needed to use a little dab of the brake just to get the front end in closer to the apex. The aim of the game here is to be over to the right hand side for the Dunlop curb. Be patient getting on power, because as you can see I'll have to lift off just slightly just to make sure I don't run wide on exit. Running wide on exit is end of lap. Okay, so brake marker for the first Degner is about a car and a half's length away from the 50 board. You're going to trail brake towards the exit and you're going to take as much curb as you possibly can. Brake reference for the second Degner is literally non-existent. I'd estimate that about 3.5 cars length away from the apex. You're going to trail brake towards the apex, but on exit you're going to straighten up those wheels and you're going to run wide all the way out over the curb. Now for the hairpin, brake marker is just as you clear the rumble strip on your right hand side. Heavy braking, trail braking towards the apex. You want to get that car rotated as early as possible. Straighten the wheels up using all the road to get onto the power as early as possible. Benefit of this is maximum speed towards spoon curve. Brake marker for the first part of spoon curve is just before the access road on the right hand side. Trail brake towards the apex. Here I've just run a little bit wide of it up to full power early between the curves, and then trail brake towards the second part. The camber here will want to spit the car out wide into the gravel trap, so you need to wait to get onto full power to ensure that you're keeping the right side of the rumble curves. So the best corner of Suzuka 130R, you want to be as flat as possible, take as much curb at the apex and up to full power as early as possible again. Brake marker for the chicane is about 2 cars length away from the 100 board. It's a heavy braking. Don't turn in too early, because you want to be keeping on the right hand side of the chicane as you enter it to be able to take as much curb at the left hand exit as possible. As soon as those wheels are straight, you're up to full power, and if it's a quali lap you keep it to the right hand side of the track, diving towards the finish line. Okay, so let's see what that looks like flat out as a lap. Turn 1, I'm positioning the car for turn 2, making sure I'm clipping the apexes and up to power as soon as I possibly can. For the entry into S-curves, there's no braking. I'm lifting and adding throttle to maintain understeer and oversteer, keeping the car positioned close to the apexes as possibly can. I'm setting up for the Dunlop curve here, making sure I'm over to the right hand side of the track. I don't really want the lift that you see there, but I've had to make sure that I don't run wide. Entry to the Degners, the first Degner, making sure I'm spotting the braking, clipping the curb, full throttle between them, making sure I'm trail braking towards the exit and using all the road on exit. Next corner is the hairpin, spotting my braking just after the rumble curb. Heavy braking, I want the car to rotate, so I'm squeezing it over to the apex and up to full power as soon as possible. Maximize the speed that I carry all the way towards spoon curve. Okay, so brake marker for spoon curve is just before the access road on the right hand side. I've missed the apex here, so I probably lost 1/10 on entry to spoon curve, but the exit is 1,000 times more important than the entry, so I'm waiting to get up to throttle. So 130R is the next corner. It's the best corner at Suzuka, like I've said before. I'm going to have to lift to get the front end to bite on turning, and I'm going to clip the apex as much as I can and up to full power as soon as possible. Getting the car back over to the left to spot my braking for the chicane. Trail braking on entry, taking as much curb as I possibly can as I go through it, and up to full power as soon as possible, diving for the line. And I reckon there with a perfect lap, I probably could have dropped another 2 or 3 tenths. Definitely think that 57 will be possible in TRA qualifying.